Hello friends, welcome back to our channel Study Desk for You. This is Satish. So today agenda is we are going to be covering in this video looping statements. So in this looping we are going to be covering types and also examples. So basically what do you mean by looping statement means these statements are used to in any language. Looping statements are used to execute the same set of statements repeatedly for multiple times until the condition failed. So based on our requirement, if we want to run the same lines of code or same block of code n number of times based on our condition, then we may go for looping statements. So loop means cycling. So here in Python we have two types of looping statements, while and for, and also it's supporting nested loops. First, while loop. So it is also a looping control statement. It repeatedly executes the set of statements until the given condition becomes false. So that means while loop purely working based on the condition. So if you see the flow diagram, so first it will enter the loop and it will check the expression which is condition. If the condition is true, again it will come back to the, so see here, so initially it will go for test expression, the condition is checking. If the condition is true, it will execute the body of the respective while loop and it will go for once again the condition checking, and if it is true, again it will repeat the loop. So until this condition getting fail, this loop will be continuing. If the condition is false, then it will exit the loop. So like that, while loop will execute continuously based on the condition. So here if you observe the example, so value will be 1 and while value less than 5, so while condition colon and block of statements what we want to print it. So here in this case, while value less than 5, yes, 1 less than 5, so it will print the value called 1, and then value equal to value plus 1. So value equal to value plus 1 means it will increment that. So like that until the condition fail, it will keep on repeating all the values. And now for loop. So for specifically designed for in Python collection iteration. So even for regular logic also we can use a loop. So it is also looping statement and it is also used to repeatedly run the same lines of code. But only the difference is while loop will purely working based on the condition, whereas for loop based on the number of iterations. So here we can use the for loop in two ways. One is number of iterations, another one collection iteration. So here if you see for number in range of 1, 6 means range is an inbuilt function in Python will generate a series of numbers from starting value to end value. So here range of 1, 6 means it generates the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 means it is 6 minus 1, that is end minus 1, and that number will be printed here. So if you see the flow chart, first it will go into the list value. So last item reached or not, that means every time when we are getting that value, see num in range in the sense also range of 1, 6 will return a list of 1 to 5. So here for loop specifically designed for list iteration or collection iteration. So the for loop will iteratively execute the same lines of code until the last item we got into the list. So that is what we explained flow chart. So last item reached, yes or no. So if no, it will execute the same lines. If yes, we got the last element and it will execute the loop. And nested loop. So simple meaning, if you write the one loop within the another loop, then we call it is a nested loop. So sometimes we may require to execute a block of statements within the another block of statements. So based on the condition, then we may go for nested loops. So loop inside the another loop. So here first it will go for inside loop. Once inside loop completed, it will go for outside loop. So likewise it will repeatedly execute the n number of lines of code. Now we will see the execution part of the looping statements. So first I will give an example for while loop. So here I want to do an example on printing the odd numbers for up to the given limit. So that is odd number list. So here very simple. So first we need to read the limit to which extent you want to print the odd numbers, and then we have to iteratively check that each and every value whether it is odd or not. If it is odd number, we have to print it. If it is even number, we have to skip it. So to check the odd number or not, we have to use the logic modulus. So that if it is divisible by 2, we should give the remainder 1, then we call it as a odd number. The same logic I am implementing here. So I am taking limit. So limit equal to int of input of enter limit. So now what we have to do, we need to initialize the one variable with 1 and we have to write the condition where it has to stop. So it is starting with 1 and ending with given limit. And now we have to check for each and every value whether it is a odd or not. So for that I percentile to each equal to 1. So then I am printing the respective value. So once the checking completed, now we have to go for next value. That means initially it is I equal to 1. So now it is checking the condition. Once inside, now we have to increment the I with 1. So I is equal to I plus 1, or also you can use the simple shorthand notation also. So now if you want to run this code, we have to press Alt enter. So now limit will be I am giving 10. So now you see the output 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So like that we can get the all the list of the odd numbers up to given limit. So that means if you really observe the logic, so here if you are doing for the 10 numbers whether it is odd or not, we have to write that logic for 10 times, so that if I percentile to equal to 1. So 10 times we have to write, 10 times we need to execute every line. But if you consider this case, I just written that particular odd number logic one time, but I repeatedly execute that logic by using while loop for 10 times. So that might be useful for our reduction of the code. So loops always will reduce your number of lines of code and also will improve your performance. And now we'll go for simple example for loop. So now for loop, how it works in Python means it just works on range or list. Basically range of 1 to 5 or 1 to 6 also will return list only. So how they designed in Python means for loop. So for loop always works on list of values. So it will check that until it is getting the end of the value of the list, the loop will be repeatedly executed. So here I will give you two types of examples. One is with list, another one with range. So first I am going for list. So list is equal to, so as I said, list is open with square brackets. So 10, 20, 30, 40. So 50 also I am giving. So now I want to print this data simply. So for I in list. So in operator I already explained. So it is used to check that whether the data is there or not. So every time from the list one element will fetch from the list and will store into the I. And that I am printing here. So print I. So now that I is going to be getting from the respective list, and it is keep on checking that is that value is lost or not. So like that it will print it. So you see here, so all the 5 values will be printed here. So this is the way how you are using the for loop with the list. So now if I want to work with range, let's take example, I want to print the multiplication table for given value. So what it means? Multiplication table like 2, 4, 6, 8 like that. So for that I am taking n is equal to input of enter a value, and I am just converting into integer. So for that I am writing int of. So now I want to generate for I in range of, because it is not fixed set of values, I want to make the I want to generate the some series of values by using range function. So I want to start from 1, I want to end with 10. So if I want to end with 10, I need to mention here 11 because it will stop last value -1. So now what I need to print? I need to print the multiplication of given number. What is the given number? N. So simply we can write print n star I. Very simple logic. So now you see Alt enter. So now you see I am giving some 7. So now if you observe 7 table printed here, see that. So 7 1 is 7 to 7 10 is 70. So if you want to print even in this exactly the tabular format, so even that also we can use concatenation operator. See here, first I want to print the given number, so n, comma, and then I want to print star. So I want to print star and comma, then I want to print 1 2 3 4 like that. So iteration value, that is I, comma, and then we have to print is equal to, and finally n star I. So now you see the same example. So again I am giving 7. Now you see it just looks like your table format. So like that we can use the for loop also. So both while loop and for loop, basically the intention is repeatedly run the same lines of code to reduce the number of lines of code. And Python does not support while loop, do while loop. It only supports while and for loop, and even it's supporting nested loop also. So now we will see a simple example for nested loop. So nested loop means if you want to write one loop within the another loop, then we called it as a generally nested loop. So how we are writing? See here, one simple example. I want to print the stars. So for that I am giving the nested loop. So very simple example here. So here I want to write the stars printing. See here, for I in range of, so I want to print 1 to 5. So 1 to 6 I am mentioning here, Now within the, again I'm writing one more loop for j in range of, so again I'm printing just like 1 to 6. So now just I'm printing star, okay, so space. So now what happened, you see, it just printing that for I in range of means 1 comma 5 means it is 5, and inside loop for j in 1 comma 5 is 5. So 5 into 5, 25 times that print statement will be executed. So you can print that statement in this way. It will print all the 25 values in vertical manner, because I already told you by default in Python print statement will execute in the new line, but I want to make it in single line. So then what we have to do means simply we can write end is equal to, so some space. So now you see what happened, everything is printed in single line. So but nested loop will help you to print in the data in the matrix format or tabular format. So how can we do means, by default system doesn't give you any kind of tabular format, so that we have to make over on the screen. So for that I'm doing a small adjustment. See here, once inside for loop is completed, so see here for I in range of 1 comma 6 means outer loop, for j in range of 1 comma 6 inner loop. So once inner loop completed, so that indentation is equal to inner for loop. So what I did is, so print simply I'm opening closing. Now you see alt enter. So now if you observe that clearly, all the 25 stars are arranged in 5 rows and 5 columns. So like that we can arrange the data as per our requirement by using this particular print statement. And now I want to print only lower triangle part. So lower triangle part means that value should print up to the prime diagonal. So for that the condition is always I value should be less than j value, and even it is equal to also. So for that I'm writing if, even I'm adding condition also, if I less than or equal to j I want to print it, or otherwise I don't want to print the data. So now you see same output. So now you see the data is getting as a triangle. So if I'm changing, then you see reverse triangle will coming. So I less than j means upper triangle, like that reverse way it will come the lower triangle. So this is the way how we are using nested loops in the Python. Even for the prime number list or palindrome number list, we can use the nested loops. So that we will see in the next video. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions or suggestions, please comment a comment section. And for online and offline classes, please visit our website www.pratalonitech.com, and please visit our another website www.kennisworld.com for more tutorials. Please support us by subscribing our channel. And if you really like the video, please like it and share it, and please hit the bell icon for more notifications. Thanks for watching this video.